I told my sister to stop bringing questionable dishes to Thanksgiving. Now our family thinks I'm a control freak.
Just bring turkey.
Every year, our family does a big Thanksgiving dinner, and we all typically bring a dish or two. My sister, who's a lovely person in every other way, insists on cooking something homemade every time. The issue? She's not a great cook.
Ah.
And I don't mean just not great, quote unquote. I mean, she has somehow managed to turn classic dishes into borderline inedible creations. By the way, this comes from Society Tiny 784 on the r/OKstorytime subreddit. So for context on that, last Thanksgiving, she showed up with her special recipe stuffing that was seasoned with random spices like cinnamon and cardamom. It was dry and the flavors were confusing and totally off for stuffing. Only one person took a small bite and the rest went untouched. Another year, she brought a green bean casserole that had some kind of strange, chewy texture. She later admitted that she used coconut milk and almond flour to experiment, quote unquote. No one wanted seconds of that one either. This year, I'm hosting Thanksgiving. Since I'm responsible for putting it together, I wanted to keep the menu consistent so that people could actually enjoy a cohesive meal. I thought I'd avoid drama by asking her to bring non-food items instead. Smart, like wine, soda, or maybe even some flowers. I explained to her, very kindly I thought, that I just wanted to make things easy and streamlined and I'd handle the main dishes, but she didn't take it well. She got offended and told me that I was being quote unquote controlling and quote unquote shutting her out of the family gathering, slamming the door in her face, metaphorically. She then accused me of making her feel inadequate and said that Thanksgiving is about everyone contributing, not me deciding what's acceptable. I told her that everyone appreciates her effort, but that she could contribute in another way and still be part of it. She doubled down and she's bringing her famous green bean casserole, whether I like it or not.
Oh, she knows.
She knows.
Dude.
Now, my mom and a couple other family members have chimed in saying that I should just let her bring whatever she wants because it's Thanksgiving and it's the thought that counts. They're acting like I'm committing some huge offense by wanting the food to be enjoyable for everyone and not have random experimental dishes that no one will eat. But I feel like I'm just trying to keep the meal enjoyable and frankly, edible. I don't think it's wrong to want guests to actually enjoy the food, especially since I'm putting in a lot of the effort to host it. Am I being unreasonable here? And am I the a-hole? We have relevant comments. We have a lot more to the story.
If she was one of my sisters, cooking is a huge thing. If someone says they don't like your dish, you're basically slapping them in the face.
Yeah.
Let everyone know what she brought. Hey, this is sister's thing.
Crystal Queen 3000 says, you're the a-hole. It's one dish that everyone knows is bad and won't eat. Why is that a big deal? Opie says, I get where you're coming from, but it's just not one dish. It's every year. And every year she brings multiple dishes with strange combinations that no one eats. It ends up feeling awkward because she keeps pushing people to try her food. And you're stuck pretending it's not that bad or trying to avoid it altogether. It also feels like a waste of time, effort, and money, especially since it's supposed to be a big family meal where we enjoy the food together. I just want people to actually look forward to the meal, not feel obligated to pretend they're enjoying her experiments. I didn't think it'd be a big deal to ask her to bring something else. It's not like I'm uninviting her, but maybe I could have handled it differently. Choice Second 5587 says, I'm super curious what other things she's made. If you're willing to expound on a few more, I want to know how bad we're talking here. Opie says, oh, buckle up because there's a list.
Oh, yes.
There's a list.
Yes.
Here are some highlights from the past family gatherings, okay? Thanksgiving 2019, she made a spicy cranberry sauce that had whole chunks of jalapenos in it.
Stop.
She insisted it was elevating the flavor profile, quote unquote.
Sweet and spicy.
Yeah, right. It ended up making people's mouths burn while eating turkey. We tried to pair it with the other stuff on the plate, but it was a no-go. Christmas 2020, she brought a fusion mac and cheese with wasabi and horseradish mixed in.
Oh.
Let's just say it was a very unexpected flavor to experience in a traditionally creamy, comforting dish. There were some coughs and watery eyes at the table that night. Easter 2021, she made a carrot salad that had carrots, raisins, and sardines. She claimed it was based on some Mediterranean recipe, but I'm pretty sure no Mediterranean grandma would approve. On to last Thanksgiving. This was the infamous this cinnamon cardamom stuffing. She wanted it to be warm and aromatic, but it ended up tasting like a holiday candle.
Oh.
The texture was also super dry, and even though she noticed no one touched it, she blamed it on us for not appreciating new flavors. Family barbecue this past summer. She did a barbecue tofu thing that had an odd vinegar peanut butter sauce. I don't know what cuisine inspired that, but it didn't belong anywhere near a grill. People tried to be polite, but most of it ended up going home with her. So yeah, this isn't just me being picky. She's made some real adventures, quote unquote, out of classic dishes, and I'm genuinely nervous for what she's planning with this whole Thanksgiving trio experience.
Trio?
Natural Wars 1261 says, let her bring it. Maybe she's been practicing and it's good. If not, maybe she'll get the hint. OP, I see what you're saying, but honestly, she's been practicing for years and it hasn't improved. If anything, she's gotten more experimental and doubling down on weird
Yes!
flavors and substitutions.
I love this.
And I don't think she'll take the hint. She's pretty proud of her cooking and genuinely seems to think that we're just not appreciating her creativity. If I thought it would lead to her realizing it's not working, I'd let it go. But instead, she just gets upset if people don't eat it and it becomes this whole thing. I'm trying to keep things simple and enjoyable for everyone without the awkwardness. Maybe there's a middle ground that I'm missing. Impressive Arm 2563 says, you're a soft a-hole. Just let her bring what she wants. It's not hurting you and you don't have to eat it. It might even be fun to pretend it's the best thing ever and throw some away when she isn't looking. It could be part of the traditional holiday experience. OP responds saying, I get that, and maybe I am overthinking it. Feels like a small battle I'd rather not have every year, especially when I'm hosting and trying to make sure everyone genuinely enjoys the meal. I mean, I can definitely go with smile and nod approach, aka wet toast spine, for the sake of the family piece, but it does feel a little exhausting to pretend every time. I guess I just don't want to encourage her thinking that everyone actually loves it, especially when it's clearly not working. But you're right, it's just food. And maybe I should focus more on making her feel included than on the menu being perfect. I'll try to keep this in mind and relax about it. If she just brought the terrible food, that's not an issue.
Yeah.
It's the attitude of harassing people to eat the food that's the problem.
And like, she's not getting it either. I understand she's putting a lot of effort
Yeah.
in these dishes, and she wants people to appreciate her effort. That's what she's trying to do here. She's like, oh, I'm creative, I'm doing this cool thing, yada, yada, yada. But you can't lie to her, you know? Like,
Yeah.
I'll entertain this,
Yeah.
but I ain't going to lie to her.
All right. Well, things have escalated fast.
Oh, no.
Thanks to everyone who offered advice. I tried to compromise, but it's already turning into a whole thing. And Thanksgiving is still a few weeks away. After our last conversation, my sister was being pretty cagey about what she planned to make. So I reached out to my mom, hoping she could smooth things over. Instead, she got defensive, saying that I'm overthinking it and it's just one dish. I told her I wasn't just so sure it was one dish anymore, especially after hearing about my sister's grocery haul, including canned oysters and edible glitter.
Oh, no.
My mom let it slip that my sister has been hard at work on some creative menu she's been planning, her Thanksgiving surprise. Apparently, she's been telling the family group chat, which I wasn't included in, by the way, that I'm being controlling and that she wants to expand everyone's palate with something truly unique. To top it off, my cousin sent me a screenshot from the group chat where my sister said she's bringing not one but 3 dishes to Thanksgiving now. She's calling them her Thanksgiving trio experience, complete with their own settings and little menu cards that she's designing. I'm officially panicking because I have no idea what she's planning to serve, and from what I've heard, it's not remotely traditional. Guys, we're not remotely traditional, but you can always tap our profile to join us weekdays live at 3 p.m. PST and see for yourself if you enjoy the experience. At this point, half the family thinks I'm overreacting, while the other half is texting me things like, is she really bringing glittered sweet potatoes? I feel stuck. If I try to control it anymore, I'm the bad guy. But if I don't, Thanksgiving might turn into a tasting event for my sister's avant-garde cooking. So yeah, Thanksgiving is weeks away and it's already become a family spectacle. I don't know whether to brace myself or preemptively order pizza.
She brings as much food as she wants.
Yep.
She's going to have to sit there and eat it. in front
Yes.
of everyone.
Yes. Relevant comments. OP when told to let the sister take charge for the meal. Uh-oh. Haha. I have to admit that idea is very tempting. Letting her take the spotlight with her Thanksgiving trio experience while I sit back, sip on a glass of wine sounds like one way to make a memorable holiday, especially if everyone gets to see exactly what I was trying to save them from. It would be kind of poetic to just lean into the chaos and let her creations be the star of the show, for better or for worse. I have a feeling that it would definitely be a Thanksgiving to remember, even if I'd have to brace myself for the family reactions. It's like a mix of malicious compliance and hands-off hosting, and I kind of love this idea of just throwing in some edible arrangements, a ton of drinks, and calling it a day. And yeah, if it all goes sideways, I'll still have plenty of remember that one Thanksgiving stories to pull out in the future. Thanks for the laugh and the wild suggestion. This just might be a holidays fantasy, but it's definitely a fun one to think about. Ingios Left Hand says, honestly, I think you should just let her do this. It can be a new family tradition. Your sister brings something weird and inedible. You all ignore it and poke fun at her terrible cooking later. Is this really something you want to create drama over? OP says, you're right. Maybe I've been looking at this all wrong. Letting her bring her unique dishes could actually become a little funny tradition if we let it. I mean, every family has its quirks, and maybe this is just one of ours. Instead of stressing about it, I could just embrace it and let her dishes be part of the Thanksgiving lore that we joke about later. It's definitely not worth creating unnecessary drama over, and if we all just go with it, it'll be less awkward and maybe even entertaining in its own way. Thanks for the reminder to just roll with it and not take it so seriously.
Good.
I feel like we're reaching a
Nice.
much better place. I
I
feel like
agree.
we're reaching much better place, although the story's not over. Jenny BCT says, oh, please update us after Thanksgiving. I can't wait to hear about her culinary experiments. OP, haha, don't worry. I'll definitely keep you all posted. I'm honestly half curious, half terrified to see what she ends up bringing. If past holidays are any indicator, we might be in for some very creative dishes, and I have a feeling the family reactions alone could make for quite the story. So stay tuned. If anything wild goes down, I'll be back with the juicy details after Thanksgiving. Fingers crossed for a low drama meal, but let's be real, I'm probably not that lucky.
We won't know until after Thanksgiving.
We won't know.
Oh,
We won't know.
So we have to keep ourselves on our toes.